If you haven't seen my last video yet, I put a Garmin catalyst in my 1993 Mazda Miata for an HPDE event, and we set a goal to run a sub 150 lap. If you watched that episode, you know that didn't happen, and on today's episode, we're gonna see if we can do it. Let's get into it. So quickly before we hop into the video, I just wanted to get some feedback from you guys. I asked you in the last video if you've been enjoying this type of content, and I didn't get much feedback, but leave a comment down below if you're into this type of HPD, track day, car content. If not, I won't post it on here anymore. Maybe I'll make a second channel and post it on there completely separate from this, but let me know either way. Let's get back to the video. So we are heading to New York Safety Track again today. I have to hook up my trailer, get everything packed up. I don't have a lot of time. As always, I'm running behind. We're gonna do one quick thing to make unloading and loading the trailer a little bit easier. I noticed the last time that the trailer was actually pointed a little bit down in the front, so I ended up getting an adjustable hitch to level out the trailer, and then that'll also make it a little bit easier to get the car on and off. So we're going to do that quick, get everything loaded up, and go back upstate. To solve the trailer being raked forward, I went and picked up an adjustable type hitch from Kurt to replace the standard hitch I had. This let me dial in the ball height to get the trailer nice and level, and man is this thing beefy. I can definitely recommend this to anyone looking for a hitch, and I'll leave a link in the description below. To get the trailer to sit the way I wanted it, I measured the hitch height at the front of the trailer with the trailer level, and then made the ball height a little bit higher than what that measurement was to account for the sag in the suspension. It's a lot nicer than the one that's actually rated for how much the trailer weighs. Alright, so now with this new hitch, trailer should be nice and level. It should make getting the car on and off a lot easier. And then actually when I have to tow anything else and use a 2-inch ball versus the 2 5/16, I don't have to swap the hitch every time. I could just flip it over, and I always have both sizes with me. So let's get to pulling the car trailer up, get the car loaded on, and let's get out of here. Before loading the car into the trailer, I had one more thing to do that I alluded to in my last video. I had a little experiment to perform. You'll see what that is in just a second. Last time I ran like a 150 or something, I'll reference it back in this video, and I ran that on RT660s. This time I'm going on a buddy set of NT01s, which are 100 tread wear versus the RT660's 200 tread wear. RT660 is a newer tire than the NT01, but I really am curious to see if I could run a faster time on these. They have slightly different characteristics from what I've read, so let's see if we can run that 149. So after getting those wheels swapped out, I loaded up the car with a little bit of help, and we got on the road. The drive up there was pretty uneventful, with a little bit of rain, but we made it up there in one piece to enjoy the rest of the evening. One of the cool things about this event is, we actually had enough time before the sun went down to do a quick track walk, and it really gave an interesting perspective of all the elevation changes and the curves that you experience while going around this track. Once the sun set, we watched a little bit of Too Fast, Too Furious before heading to bed. Following morning, we got up pretty early, took the Miata to go grab a cup of coffee, attended the driver's meeting, and it was time to head out on track. Alright, so it's the morning of, checked the oil, checked the tire pressure, got the Garmin all set up, and we're going to see if we can run that 148 today. This first session out, I definitely noticed that the NT01s definitely behave differently than the RT660s, and you'll see in just a few minutes that I'm definitely more consistent on the NT01. I'm not going to say that the NT01 is definitely a faster tire, and maybe it's just a tire that I'm more comfortable on. Obviously, you'd need a lot more extensive testing and testing under the same conditions to really see which is a faster tire, which from what I've read is the RT660. But for me personally, like I said before, I'm definitely more comfortable on the NT01. And I'm sure at least one of my subscribers is going to love that I said that on tape. So first session out, I ran a 150/48. Tire pressure was a little high in the fronts. I think I could pick up a little bit more time, but it's saying on my Garmin that my optimal lap is a 149, which I would be psyched. A 149 flat, so it's a second and a half faster than I'm going now. So there's definitely room for improvement today. Hopefully as the track heats up, I don't slow down. Unfortunately, we didn't get to go out that last session. Somebody went down on a bike and they had to clean it up. Thankfully, the guy was all right, and we'll get to go out next session. It was actually a blessing in disguise because I forgot the gauges went out on the car the last run, a fuse pop. I don't know why it's doing that. I'm gonna have to look into it when we go home, but it's fixed for now. I popped the new fuse in and everything seems to be fine. So at this point in the session, I was feeling super confident. I cracked off another 150.91, which was my previous personal best, and I was on my way to running my best lap when I had an unfortunate turn of events. After doing a quick assessment that there was no damage to the car, I pulled back on track and limped off track with my tail between my legs. Unfortunately, that last session, like 4 or 5 laps in, I ended up going off at turn 6, I believe, right before Wheelie Hill. Just got into it a little bit too much, all 90 horsepower of it. Next session out, I think I'll be able to run that 149. I was down a second at that point in that lap just before I went off, so I could definitely do it. So after taking a break and watching the bikes run again, I headed back out on track. Unfortunately, I didn't meet that superficial goal of running a sub 150 lap this year, and sadly, this is the last event at New York Safety Track for me until next summer. I've definitely learned more in these past 2 events than I have in all the other events I've done combined, and I look forward to putting this Garmin Catalyst to use and learning to become a better driver. With all that out of the way, that kind of concludes this little mini series that I did on HPDE. And again, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, leave a comment down below. I really appreciate your guys' feedback, and I look forward to giving you some more great content. We're going back to the DIY maker how-to style videos, and I can't wait to share that stuff with you. As always, please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.